Welcome to the Strategy Mob Podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
So you've seen, dealerships go through good times and bad times. You've seen good operations. You've seen crappy operations. You've seen great operations. So I imagine there's just a lot that you've consumed. And, given our current environment, I just would love to kind of pick your brain, about just how you see kind of moving forward. I mean, I know for like myself, all the marketing strategies and everything we do has just been based on all of the experience and knowledge that we've had over the last 10 years. But it's like right now, I almost have to throw everything we know out the door and like kind of restart. But I'm curious from your perspective, Ted, is like, how do you see our industry kind of progressing over the next 6 to 12 months?
I think for me it's optimism. I think the one thing that we're going to see coming out of this is the level of professionalism has to get better. I recently spoke at TLS summits in the US, and it was a program dedicated to customer experience. And we talked quite a bit about, really what customers' expectations are and how we're handling them in today's world. And one of the pieces that I brought up was a Gallup poll study that was done in 2012, where it was a trustworthiness study. So it's looking at a variety of professions and what level of trustworthiness do you have with that profession. And automotive salespeople had an 8% trustworthiness rating. So that was horrible. But that was 2012. Well, they did the same study in 2018. And we went from being at the bottom to being tied at the bottom. So the only thing that happened in 2018 were congressmen dropped to 8% trustworthiness, and salespeople still remained at 8%.
That's scary.
And for me, it is, and it's frustrating because for me, who's been so entrenched in the automotive side of the business, it's frustrating because I saw so much change from 2012 to 2018. OEMs and dealers both worked very hard at improving the professionalism. So it really bothered me why they still struggled with that trustworthiness factor. And it's sad, but we still, getting talent. I talked about a talent pool years ago, and now I had a dealer once tell me that we're dealing with a talent puddle. And that's sad.
It drives me nuts when they say stuff like that.
It does, but the challenge is getting good people because of the reputation and because of changes in our industry. I mean, the biggest challenge that I've seen happen over the last 10 years is really the available gross profit and ability to, make a living as an automotive salesperson. And people always say, well, how's that not, how's it possible? And their cars, they're $20,000, $30,000. How can you not make enough money? Well, if customers look at, and I'll even go back 5 years ago, if you go back 5 years and you look at what the available gross profit was, and you look at the technology that's gone into cars over the past 5 years, the increase in price is not reflective of the technology, right?
Not even close.
But what's had to happen is OEMs have had to take a little bit less gross profit on the cars they wholesale to the dealer. And the dealer is naturally, their gross profit gets lowered by the OEM. And I had an interesting conversation with a gentleman maybe 2 weeks ago. And he used to work at Future Shop when Future Shop was in operation. And when he sold a dishwasher, fridge, and stove, there was more gross in that for a $5,000 set.
Yep.
Than there was in, say, a Kia Forte, because he worked at a Kia store and the Kia Forte he was selling.
It's crazy. It's
right?
Absolutely crazy.
It is, and it's very, very difficult. But what's had to happen is, back to your original question, we talk about that type of scenario. Margins are shrinking. It's tougher to get good talent. But we have to get better because now the communication that we have to have with consumers, the advanced review of product, sending video to customers, new ways of creating opportunities with customers, all those things that continue to change are driving us to be better at our jobs because loyalty is fleeting with a lot of OEMs. right? It's not so much about the brand that my dad drove. It's about who's taking care of me.
Yeah,
And we have
loyalty
this-
really is now the responsibility of the dealership, not necessarily the OEM, I think, moving forward.
It is. It's very shared responsibilities. I mean, if you take good care of me and you are trusted, you are going to, without question, earn my business. And you'll maintain it so long as you keep that level of communication, that level of professionalism up. So, COVID, when it drove us in Ontario, it drove us into a situation where our service departments could only be open and our showroom floors, it was remote selling only. We had to get better. We had to get better at communicating. We had to get better at paperwork. We had to get better at sending customers details on the product. And in doing that, we continue to learn. And by continuing to learn, we continue to evolve. And as we continue to evolve, we can continue to get better. So, I look at COVID as a very
I think
unfortunate
some
notice.
people will do that, right?
Some people will.
Like Ted, we know, like we've been in the business long enough to know that we're in an industry that doesn't change overly
It's
fast.
resistant to change at times.
Or willing to change, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy Mob podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to sign up to Be a Mobster at strategymob.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.